To solve polynomials with degree higher than 2, we first set the equation equal to 0 and then factor the polynomial. 2. Set each factor equal to 0 and solve each for x. 3. You will have the same number of solutions as the degree of the polynomial. Step 4, we can check our answer, but keep in mind these will not generate extraneous solutions. Our first goal here is to set it equal to 0. We have x cubed plus 4x squared. We need to subtract x and subtract 4, and then the right side will be 0. Next, we can factor by grouping. We'll group the first two terms. Notice that their GCF is x squared. Factor out x squared, we're left with x plus 4. Group the last two terms. Notice they have nothing in common other than a -1. Factor out the -1, we're left with x plus 4. And the right side is 0. At this point, notice the parentheses are both the same. We can factor out that set of parentheses, x plus 4, and we're left with x squared minus 1 equals 0. Next, we'll set each of those factors equal to 0 and solve. On the left equation, subtract 4 on both sides. We get x equals -4. On the right equation, add 1 to both sides, x squared equals 1. Take the square root of both sides to remove the square, and we get the square root of 1 is 1. But don't forget, if you take the square root of both sides, we need to add plus or minus. So we have 3 answers. In this example, we want to start by setting the right side equal to 0. So we'll add 3 to both sides. X cubed minus 3x squared minus x plus 3 equals 0. Factor by grouping. The first two terms have x squared in common. Factor out squared, we get x minus 3. The last two terms only have 1 in common, but since the first term is negative, we'll pull out a -1, leaving us with x minus 3 equals 0. Continue factoring, pull out the x minus 3, and we're left with x squared minus 1 equals 0. Set each factor equal to 0, and we'll solve these independently. The equation on the left, we can add 3 to both sides to get x equals 3. The equation on the right, we'll add 1 to both sides, and then take the square root of both sides. We get x equals plus or minus 1. Again, we get 3 answers.